Before we start this video, I'd just like to thank Luke D, one of my True Believer patrons on Patreon, for requesting this video. If you'd like to request a video, visit patreon.com/thebirdman to find out how.
Honestly, having a major movie studio label on your jacket is so lame that it's probably the punkest you could do. But since that's so punk it's ultimately lame, this asshole gets a sin. Anarchy in the UK and
It's pretty amusing watching YouTubers get big on the platform. It's like once they reach a certain threshold, they really think they can do no wrong. I mean, why has no one told Jeremy that he does an absolutely terrible English accent?
What a crock of This band kinda sucks, but they suck in a conceptual way, not in their execution. If anything, Dewey is objectively the most technically proficient player they have. I know his antics are silly, and that's the reason they get for firing him, but they're hardly antithetical to the goodness of the band's music. So this whole f***ing movie begins on a faulty premise for me.
The only faulty premise here is the one you're making for this bullshit sin. Where is the film implying that this message is in reference to their execution? The only thing on the screen is, these guys suck, not these guys can't play instruments well.
Ned, aren't you tired of letting people push you around?
No, not until the end of the movie when we need a trip to Bountiful moment.
Jeremy makes an old lady pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
I would like your share of the rent now, please.
Oh man, you know I don't have it. You wake me up for that?
There's really no way around saying this at some point, so I'll say it here early on. Dewey is a dickface that chases his own selfish desires the entire film, until at the last minute he has a super sudden change of heart. He's more of an asshole than Lightning McQueen, and that's saying something.
Yes, Jeremy, this is called characterization. Now let's move on to your ABCs. A, B, C.
Ned has the most important job there is.
Temping?
A substitute teacher is not a temp.
Say what? The entire notion of substitute teaching is exactly tempting. God bless them and all, but these folks ain't out there molding hearts and minds. They're throwing in videos and playing chalkboard Jeopardy, man.
That attitude is precisely what Ned is trying to dispel. A temp is actually a certified and licensed teacher, one with a legitimate start and end date. A substitute teacher is essentially an on-call babysitter for when the normal teacher is sick or something.
I may never have another girlfriend.
If that's the case, I have to ask for the receipts on how you got this one.
It's Sarah Silverman, man. The question you need to be asking is, how did she get a boyfriend?
We voted. You're out.
Man, I was not expecting this movie to be a Pearl Jam biopic.
No one will be seated during the random thing that has nothing to do with the movie portion of the video.
Lamp, lamp, lit candles, lamp.
Oh, is it my turn? I guess I was waiting for why this is a thing that needed to be pointed out and everything wrong with video.
If a kid gets out of line, I got no problem smacking him in the head.
We don't use corporal punishment here.
Okay, so just verbal abuse?
Top private school principal totally misses huge red flag about the new sub because she's in a hurry. I know movie's got a movie, but in reality, Dewey would have been fired at least 6 times within the last 2 minutes.
I don't know. This is anecdotal, of course, but I went to private school for preschool, and the teachers there actually did hit us, unfortunately. Or rather, it was the headmistress, Mrs. Redman. That bitch, God rest her black soul.
When's lunch?
The children just had their lunch.
Okay, you called him early in the AM though, and he raced here. It was an emergency because the regular teacher broke her leg on her way into school for the morning. So how did it take 3 hours for them to get Schneebly here? I want to send the principal for missing another red flag, but if the kids just had lunch, then the movie has some explaining to do with the timeline.
Are you unaware that this is a very popular movie and that people have actually seen it? I mean, you'd have to be with these ridiculous things you're saying. There isn't a scene in the movie that suggests he raced to the school, first of all. I mean, he clearly took time to shave off his entire beard. And second, the principal insinuates that she'd been calling other subs all morning, meaning the timeline does make sense.
Miss Dunham only gives us recess for 15 minutes.
Hey! You're not hearing me, girl. I'm in charge now.
If my own personal experience in middle school taught me anything, and it didn't, it's that at least 50% of these kids would narc on him instantly.
I almost instinctively removed a sin for Jeremy admitting he basically failed middle school, but he basically failed middle school.
Is Dewey an unbelievable artist? Because that drawing of himself isn't just good. It's like photorealistic.
When I first saw this movie, I didn't think it was a drawing at all, as it looks more like a photocopy of a photograph. However, as you've sown doubt into my mind, I'd like to point out that even if this was a drawing, Why is that a sin? He's a very talented musician, so why is it that hard to believe he can draw?
Mr. Schneebly, it's after 10. On Tuesdays, the children have music class now.
Right, cool, awesome. Any reason why you waited until now to tell him, though? Louis wants this to be a Dewey is dumb moment, when it's really just a no one told Dewey the moment.
This wasn't a Dewey is dumb moment. It was him being caught telling the kids about the man. He was just being informed that the kids have another part of their schedule. You know, because this is only his second day.
Listen, I know this is a fancy-ass school and all, but it ain't Little Juilliard. I mean, there's no way a general studies elementary school is rehearsing a Joaquin Rodrigo guitar concerto.
Now, this is the most bullshit thing you've said to date. After private school, I went to a public elementary, and it's how I learned how to play music. Trust me, we weren't playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But considering you failed middle school, it doesn't surprise me you're unaware of this.
If you store your guitars in a van parked outside in this climate, you don't love your guitars. And them certainly ain't tuned at this point.
Dude, he plays Gibsons. He doesn't give a shit about guitars staying in tune.
I do not want to have to fail you.
I thought you didn't believe in grades.
This girl is CinemaSins.
You mean an annoying little know-it-all that ruins everyone's fun and would be that kid to remind the teacher to assign his homework?
You're going to be the most popular guy in school, trust me.
I know Dewey's trying to build up Lawrence's confidence here, but I also think he actually believes this. But everyone knows the only time a keyboard player is the most popular guy in the band is when you look like Ryan Gosling in La La Land.
He says when Chris Martin from Coldplay exists.
Lead guitar, Zack Attack. Take a seat.
Did you even let any of the other kids try to play the guitar?
Considering he was literally the only guitarist in the group. Oh, wait, I get it. Jeremy is one of those people that believe in participation trophies.
You three, groupies.
Yeah, this entire scene is a little uncomfortable. There's a reason that the entirety of the rock and roll lifestyle isn't supposed to include prepubescent kids, you know?
You are, again, sinning characterization. The movie itself points out that calling kids groupies is not such a great idea. You don't get to call out something the movie is also calling out.
I researched groupies on the internet. They're sluts. They sleep with a band.
If he'd just called them the fan club instead of groupies, then we wouldn't have to watch a little girl talk about sleeping with band members.
This is exactly the point I was making. The film is pointing out how inappropriate Dewey can be as a person. That's the film building a character. You just send the film for making the same point you did.
Look, my mother's a room parent.
Then how the hell has she not heard or experienced any of the tomfoolery that's taking place? Have these people ever been to a private school? The parents are all up in that man.
Have you? Because it's clear that you're relying on stereotypes of private schools rather than experience. Let me tell you, the only daddy that was at USC was me when I was blowing someone's daughter's back out.
What about Sabbath? AC/DC?
At least ask him about era-appropriate rock bands, like the White Stripes, Linkin Park, or the Foo Fighters. This scene that is supposed to be about them not knowing rock music has stacked the deck against them based on age.
Or the movie is saying those other bands are timeless and everyone should know of them while the newer bands had yet to prove themselves.
We have awesome material, which I wrote.
You literally just asked them about their favorite bands because you said you all needed to figure out what kind of sound you wanted to have as a band. But you were planning on using your pre-existing songs, which already have a sound, which means all this was pointless?
So you really think that because he has written songs, this would prevent the band from having its own sound? This train of thought would completely nullify the concept of cover bands. You really should donate your body to science, Jer, because the shit they would find out by dissecting your brain would be priceless.
Hold the phone. This movie where Jack Black is just playing a PG-13 version of his Tenacious D character has a role for a late 30s balding pudgy white guy gym teacher, and it did not cast Kyle Gass? The f***ing hell?
Everything wrong with School of Rock, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't cast an actor I wanted.
Yeah, now raise your goblet of rock.
This is hilarious, but as much as I love watching it, I'm also reminded that these kids are going to be way behind in their algebra comprehension once they hit 8th grade.
This is like the third video where you mentioned elementary level children should be learning algebra. That's a 7th grade subject. But considering the way you dropped out of middle school... Also, Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
This scene about him being up early and happy about work and not confusing his roommates makes me wonder why they were crawling up his ass about rent at 9 a.m. 5 days ago and have said nothing else about it since.
Okay, CinemaSins just asked why are his roommates, who were unhappy about Dewey not working and paying his rent, not upset that he is now working to pay his rent?
The greatest failing of this movie is that its original songs are all half-assed and lazy. This song here is basically just an insurance jingle. Liberty, 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 liberty.
CinemaSins just said the soundtrack for School of Rock is half-assed and lazy. I'm gonna let you marinate on that one.
Those that can't do, teach. And those that can't teach gym.
Of course, we know how charismatic Dewey is, but he's been a f***ing social pariah until like yesterday. This is as sudden of a hero turn for a character since Bob Wiley wowed all the psychiatrists at the hospital, and what about Bob?
Yeah, you don't understand comedy movies, we know. But what the heck is up with this punctuation, homie?
Sorry, including the Doors in this history of rock chalkboard lesson was entirely unnecessary. The Doors suck.
The Doors what? 50 Sins, enough said.
Fuck you, you asshole!
He's teaching him how to kick while playing keyboard, which might be the lamest thing a guy ever thought was rock and roll.
You don't get an opinion on anything rock and roll anymore after saying the Doors suck.
The Nina, the Gordon,
The Pinta?
Pinta.
You know, Dewey's probably put more time into fake teaching than he would have to do for actual teaching. And maybe that's supposed to be the point, but it's never revisited again, and is only a means to an end for his own rock goals.
What the hell is this? CinemaSins watches School of Rock and explains the scenes? How is you just explaining what you see on the screen a sin for the movie? You said it yourself. That was the point.
We are good to go.
You know, this isn't some seedy underground rock club. This is an actual battle of the bands, where you can win actual money. But no one from the event is even questioning the appearance of the gathering of the very young children here.
Oh look, CinemaSins is asking for things they cut out of their video to pretend the movie doesn't address them. Listen to how surprised I sound.
Sorry, the bill's full. We're already overbooked.
No. Let us just play one song. We're all here. We're ready to go.
Who are they?
They're my band.
Kids? What is this, some kind of gimmick?
Don't make me come back here.
This year, moments like this are what keep this movie from ultimately getting filed away as great, because the lead actor couldn't resist indulging a bit too much. It's why, tragically, almost no one ever talks about Me, Myself, and Irene, honestly.
Does Jeremy not know that School of Rock is critically acclaimed? Is the Birdman asking this like he's actually surprised?
At this point in the movie, they're playing Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song, which used to be a super f***ing rare song to hear in a movie. But halfway through Thor Ragnarok, it had officially become a cliche. So, for starting that cliche in this movie, here's Sin!
New cliche time. Whenever Jeremy sings, he automatically gets 15 sins.
We have a name for the band.
Hit me.
You made a t-shirt of the name without first clearing it with the obvious dictator of the band?
Dude, they made one t-shirt. You're saying this as if they did an entire manufacturing run. Also, that fucking laugh.
Also, Dragging My Drums Into the Closet was the name of my second cousin's rap album about growing up. The last time they had to fool the principal, she stopped outside and merely listened. But here she walks in, and they had to be visually ready with the ruse as well. My question is, how do they know when she's going to stop at the door and listen versus coming all the way into the room?
Well, if you were watching the movie you're watching, you'd have seen the security system the students have in place for detecting just that. Oh wait, you literally sinned that specific scene where they showed you that security system.
I would really love to talk some more about your philosophy on, teaching. Do you think maybe we could grab some coffee?
What's the point of this invite? Dewey's trying to get Roz drunk so that she'll agree to the field trip.
And let me stop you right there, because not only have you answered yourself, the justification after this is so dumb, I don't even have the energy to address it.
They hate me.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. They sure do. I can see.
Movie has officially lost its way.
Same thing I said about CinemaSins back in 2018.
Come on, I want to hear it, Kurt Cobain.
Jeez, probably the movie's attempt to keep Dewey's uncouth reputation alive for the audience, but what a joke this is. The only connection to this kid and Cobain is guitar playing.
Yes, which is why he said it.
He's not even a teacher.
You called the cops?
And they showed? How is this a police matter at all?
Jeremy just asked, how is a man impersonating a teacher to be around kids a police matter? Hello, FBI?
I have been touched by your kids. And I'm pretty sure I've touched them.
We got pedophile humor, y'all.
Yeah, Jeremy. We know why you're mad about that.
I'm sorry I lied, and it's not cool to lie to your band.
Come on, we're gonna be late.
Movie doesn't even want to spend any time on Dewey's change of heart and apologies and It has rockin' to get to. Who cares about character arcs and moral lessons?
Yes, but if they did waste time on his apology, you'd have sent it for character grows in a movie cliche.
That's just one guy's opinion. This ain't my band, it's our band.
This sudden 180. He's only sorry because he got caught. He's only humble because everyone saw his ass.
Nonsense. The dude tried confessing to Roz and she didn't even listen to him. Hell, you just send the movie for him attempting to apologize but not being able to get it out.
And now the kids will close out the Battle of the Bands that they did not win with a cover of an AC/DC song they definitely never practiced. This could have been an all-timer. Instead, it's a forgettable charmer. What a pity.
How out of the loop do you have to be to consider School of Rock forgettable? It's the first film to get Led Zeppelin to approve the use of one of their songs. Go sit in the corner with Kanye West and reflect on your transgressions with your fellow embarrassing dropout.